Hi friends, MarcySchoenborn here, Show Fit 300X Business. And today I am showcasing my friend, Logan Ellis. Logan, here you are. Tell us what you do.
Well, Marcy, it's good to be here with you today. I actually do mortgages, and I do mortgages all across the country in all 50 states. And one of the things that I do is I do residential mortgages. So anything to do with residential is what I do, but I actually specialize in VA loans.
Okay, and I can speak from experience. Logan did our loan a couple years ago when we were building a house, and that in and of itself can be nerve-wracking enough. I can tell you he made it so comfortable and painless and easy. I say that my husband had a little bit of stress, but I had all the confidence in the world, and I know my husband had all the confidence in the world in Logan as well. And I can tell you anything that came up, we made a phone call. Logan handled it. We didn't handle it. It was amazing. So thank you for that, Logan. So um, let's see. What do you think is going to happen in the housing markets in 2023? That's like a open live can of worms, right?
It is, and I think right now, depending in obviously it's geographic specific, in a lot of places right now, you're seeing a lot of seller concessions. You're seeing some price reductions, and we're starting to see a more normalized market. Now, obviously, the Fed has been raising rates, but I personally believe interest rates on mortgages are actually going to come down at the end of the second quarter of 2023. Now,
Okay. Well, that's good news. That is good news. And so even like with and I know you specialize in the VA, but you do both. So in the VA mortgages, the loan is better. So and Logan, I should thank you for your service. And thank you for anyone watching this that would be eligible for a VA loan. Thank you. You earned that.
yes.
But so their loans are a little lower usually, right? Maybe can you tell me about that?
Well, as far as the VA loan, believe it or not, our company will go up to $3 million on a VA loan.
Wow.
And it actually came to fruition that under the Blue Water Act that President Trump passed in 2019, they raised the limits on VA to go, in some cases, even higher, but our company caps it at 3%, excuse me, 3 million.
Okay.
Um, so anything 3 million or below, we can do. Now, the nice thing about it is there's no mortgage insurance. You don't have to put any money down in order to get into the loan. Obviously, there's going to be some closing costs, but we can even work with them if they don't have the money for the closing costs. Because, like
Okay.
when I bought my first house, um, actually, it wasn't the first house. The reason I got into this is because the guy that I bought my first house with didn't even tell me I qualified for a VA loan.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, and it cost me thousands of dollars more over the life of
Okay.
the loan. So when I bought my second house, I realized that I could qualify for a VA loan, and it was outstanding. It actually um, it gave me the opportunity to buy a house with no money down, and the lender that I worked with at the time that I worked for actually covered all the closing costs, and we can do that, but you just take a slightly higher rate if you have to do that, but it's
Okay.
still an option.
And and speaking of the story that you're telling, when Tim and I did our first mortgage together, he was always under the impression that you could use a VA loan one time. And so we were buying like our first home together, and we thought we're going to save the VA loan for when we upgrade. And so we didn't
Yeah.
use VA the first time. And so we got bad information at that time.
Yeah, you can actually use the VA loan multiple times. You can actually have two VA loans at the same time, believe it or not. So it's just, there's a lot of confusion out there, and a lot of loan officers don't know about VA loans. I've done a little over 867 so far throughout my career. And
That's a few. I would call you an expert. So
yeah, thank you. Thank you. And it's just about knowing what's available for the veterans and specializing in it, and then actually, taking the time to research it and study it on a regular basis. And that's
right.
what I try to do.
Well, and I will speak from things I've overheard in the I think we've known you about 10 years. So
Mhm.
and give a little bit of background. So my husband was you, you guys were clients of each other's
Mhm.
and became really good friends. I would consider you one of his best friends.
Absolutely.
But also, I was out in the networking world in business. And so when I would talk to people in either of those industries, mortgage, title, all of that, if VA came up, I have to tell you, your name came up, and it is known that you are the best and the most knowledgeable in VA. So I'm not only speaking from what you did for us and you as a friend, I'm speaking from overhearing and understanding what people are saying and going, yep, I would definitely agree with that, because I know how you handled our mortgage versus how other people have handled mortgages that we've done. So thank you. You're awesome.
Thank you.
So people, you want to use this guy, and be sure to check in the description for his link. His website is thevaguy.com, but all his information is going to be in the description, so you can reach out to him. And if you can't for some reason find the information, you can always reach out to me and I can connect you to him. But we're not done talking here. So let's see. What should a consumer be on the lookout when looking for a mortgage, when shopping for a mortgage?
Well, number one, make sure that your loan officer has been doing this for more than a couple years. Obviously, with the market changing, you need to know what options are available for you. I've been doing it now for, oh gosh, in February, actually tomorrow will be 22 years. I've been doing mortgages, and it's about having the experience and the knowledge of what's going on in the industry. But the next thing is, when it comes to the actual nuts and bolts of the mortgage process, make sure that they're not charging you any extra points. And if you are buying down the rate, make sure you talk to the loan officer and see if that's a good idea for you in the future. Always look and see if they have any what I call junk fees. So any type of underwriting or processing fees, we don't charge that on our VA loans. And one of the things that I do for my clients, even if they decide not to go with me, I take a look at their loan options, and I'll tell them if they're getting a good loan or not. And if I can't match it, I'll absolutely tell them to go with somebody else. But this is the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make in your life, unless you win like the Powerball. So make sure you're working with somebody that you can actually trust.
Okay, awesome. And I love that you even said you can have two VA loans at one time, because girl would love a condo in Florida right about now.
I know, it's gold there. It's cold.
Yes, it's a little bit cold here. So let's see. Does it really matter who you use for mortgage, or are all lenders the same?
No, all lenders are different, actually. So when it comes down to the processes, number one, the ability to sign documentation electronically in comparison if you have to sign everything with what they call a wet signature. Everything from who is the main and primary point of contact throughout the entire process? That's me. You're not going to talk to anybody else, maybe my transaction coordinator if I'm not available, but we try to keep it as simple as possible. That way you get the hands-on experience that you deserve, because it is a stressful process. There's a lot of moving parts. There's moving, there's, securing the property. One of the things I do, I even call the listing agent to make sure that we put our best offer forward when I'm working with the buyer's agent, to ensure that you hopefully get that property that you so want and deserve, to be honest with you.
Right, right. And we know from the Colorado life what it was like to toes got stepped on with houses. I mean, hundreds of offers would come in on a house on a weekend, and people were scrambling, and I think that went on in Arizona, and yeah, it's just kind of crazy. So yeah, like when you put in an offer on a house, you desperately want that house, and sometimes there was a lot of desperation going on. So why you over someone else?
Well, first off, I'm a veteran. Okay, I served in the United States Marine Corps, and I firmly believe that if you can help another veteran succeed and give them the opportunity that you have, as long as everything is equal or better, is what I always say. Because if somebody's beating me on the interest rate or on the closing costs or something along those lines, then you should absolutely go with somebody else, because that's saving you and your family more money. Typically, it doesn't happen. But number two, you also have to be working with someone who's got a tremendous amount of experience, okay, especially on VA loans. You need to know that they've done multiple VA loans, what to anticipate, what to expect. Prime example, I had a client recently thought they couldn't buy a home with a non-veteran. That's wrong. It is 100% legal and available to clients. It's called a joint loan, and people don't know about that.
Oh,
And it's my mission to help them, but it also should be the mission of any loan officer that you work with, that they have the confidence and the ability and the knowledge in order to get the deal done.
okay. So I just want to clarify that. So you're saying a joint loan. So that's two people buying a home together. One is a veteran, one is not. Is that what
That's
you're
correct.
saying? And
Yes,
they're not married.
correct. You could still do
Okay.
that.
Okay, because I was going to say, yeah, I am not a veteran. My husband is, and we obviously bought a home together. But okay, so I did not know that. That is interesting and very good to know. Okay, so this is something I think a lot of people want to know. What should we expect during the mortgage process?
Well, at least with us, I don't know about other individuals or entities, but with us, what happens is we go through the application process initially. And we can do that over the phone or we can do that online. And then what I do is I put together a list of all the documents that you're going to need. And then I send you that list. Once I have that list, it comes back to us. We submit the file into underwriting immediately with all of your documentation to ensure we get a true pre-underwritten file. Now, right now, that's taken about 6 hours, fortunately. So I can have you an answer back. I always say, give me 24 to 48 hours and I'll get everything handled for you and get you a true pre-approval that's been underwritten by an underwriter. And then at that point, I say, go out and shop. And once you find the house that you've fallen in love with, then what I do is I reach out to the listing agent and I say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith are well qualified. It's actually been underwritten and we can close in as little as 10 days. Now, in that process, we'll go through, I'll order the appraisal, we'll order the title, we'll order verifications of employment, things of that nature. We'll put it all together. There will be some documents that the borrower would have to sign initially. Once they get that, we step forward to the next step in the process, which is actually going to the closing table. Once you go to the closing table, I'll ensure that the documents there are there 24 hours prior, if not more, and that the funds are going to be wired in that morning. So after you sign, you can go straight down, get in your house, and start the moving process. But that's the process with us. Some other companies, you might have to talk to a few different people. Throughout the process with me, you're just talking to me or my transaction coordinator.
Nice, very nice. And again, I want to reiterate that you do mortgages in 50 states. So that is a really big deal. So if you're watching this and thinking, well, I wish I could find a mortgage guy in my state, that I don't think that matters as much as having the best mortgage guy. And this guy right here, I think is exactly who that is. So how can people get in touch with you?
Well, you can reach out to my website. That's thevaguy.com. Once again, thevaguy.com. Or you can call my personal cell phone. I've had it for the last 21 years. It's never going to change. At 602-326-5740. Once again, 602-326-5740.
Awesome. And I will have that information in the description. So Logan, thank you so much for your time. And hopefully some people watch this that need your help because I know how you were amazing with our mortgage and you did my best friend's mortgage, I think over a year ago. And she just said it's you're just, you take control. And that is something that I think is missing in a lot of lenders. They, like you said, there's other people involved, never know who you're going to talk to, can't connect to somebody. And we never saw that. We saw that if we reached out to you, you got right back with us and you handled situations and you were amazing. So thank you for that. And thank you for your time today. And hopefully we see you and your lovely wife soon. And hopefully it's like in a warm climate.
Always welcome down in Phoenix, Marcy.
Thank
Always.
you. Have
All
a
right.
great day.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.